Hello, I am attorney Tammy Saltzman, and you are watching Divorce Connection Network. Today, I am so pleased to introduce you to a dear friend, Michelle Merson. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Tammy.
How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Good. Michelle is the owner of the Misdemeanor Clinic, and today we're going to talk about the importance of hiring a lawyer to handle misdemeanors that may affect you during your divorce. Maybe you get a misdemeanor, maybe your spouse gets a misdemeanor, maybe your children are acting out and they get in trouble, and you think, well, it's only a misdemeanor, I can handle it myself. Well, we are here to tell you that is not the case. So, Michelle, why don't you tell the audience why you opened the Misdemeanor Clinic?
Tammy, I opened the Misdemeanor Clinic after working for 10 years for a prominent criminal defense attorney, and I found that the better attorneys and the more experienced staff were working on the big cases, the felonies, and the misdemeanor cases, they kind of got shoved to the bottom of the pack, and they didn't get the attention they deserved, and they're just as important cases because they can affect your future just as much as a felony could, even though the penalty for a misdemeanor is a year in jail or less. The lifelong consequences are the same.
Right. When you fill out an employment application and it says, have you ever been convicted of a crime? It doesn't always say a felony. It's just any crime.
Exactly.
And if you're going to a college and you're doing college applications and you think, well, it's just a misdemeanor, it's not going to be a big deal, well, it could affect you, right?
It could affect you. And if you ever in your life get rearrested, the penalties can become more enhanced if your first misdemeanor case is not resolved as good as it should be.
And that's important. In a divorce case, a lot of times kids do act up and the parents think that they can handle the cases by themselves. Why is that not a good idea?
It's not a good idea, and even parents can be charged with misdemeanors during the proceedings of a divorce. Domestic battery, breaking into someone's home to get their belongings. Children act out. It's a time definitely that children are highly emotional and engage in activities that they normally wouldn't engage in and get into some legal trouble. The reason it's not a good idea to try to handle a misdemeanor on your own is, number one, the average person could not possibly know all the options available to you in court. That's only something that an experienced attorney would know and can recommend what's best for that particular situation.
And let me interrupt you. I am an experienced attorney, but I handle family law matters and I handle real estate matters. I don't handle criminal matters. And so if a client comes to me and he says to me, I'm being accused of domestic violence, can you defend me? My answer is no. I'm not a criminal lawyer. I would refer something like that to Michelle, because even though I'm a smart girl and even though I'm a lawyer, I don't know the ins and outs of the criminal court system the way Michelle does.
And I, vice versa, do not know the ins and outs of the court system of a family attorney. The days of a general practitioner are well over because the laws have become so complicated. My biggest pet peeve, Tammy, is when I get a client who comes to me and they've done really well in school and they are applying for a job, and it's a very competitive market out there, and they have a minor charge such as disorderly intoxication or possession of marijuana under 20 grams. And even if I can handle that case and get it dismissed and make it eligible to get off of their record, if they 5 years prior had another misdemeanor on their record which they did not resolve correctly, I can't even get this charge off their record. So it's very important the first time you're ever charged with anything, even if it's a criminal traffic infraction, that you hire an experienced attorney so that you could be able to get through and resolve the case, but you may not be able to resolve it, and probably won't, in a way that allows to set your record clean for the future.
It's so important because you don't know what can come of something. You can be charged with something very small. You think it gets dismissed. You're happy as can be, but it has not been expunged.
It has not been expunged. And let's say someone got a driving with a suspended license 5 years ago, and they went in and settled the case. They pled guilty and just paid a fine. And then 5 years later, they were arrested for possession of anything, drug or DUI or anything. And let's say I could resolve that present case favorably. I still can't get it off of their record because
they have a prior record.
They have a prior record for driving with a suspended license.
You know, so a lot of kids get into trouble. They get in trouble for using fake ID. They get in trouble in school for contraband. They get in trouble, they go to a bar and they have a fight. A toga party at college gets busted for too much noise. They find themselves in circumstances that they didn't expect to get themselves into. And we just want to make sure that you know the severity of having any charge against you. It may save you money not to hire a lawyer and to just get it dismissed and pay the fine. But what Michelle is saying is, if you don't get it handled properly, it could cause a lot of problems in the future.
It could cause problems trying to get a loan. It could cause problems getting into college. It could cause problems getting a job. The market is so competitive. You do not want to be judged based on a background check that something comes up when it just didn't need to.
Do you often do background checks on your clients just to see what shows up on their records?
I can run a background check on my clients to see if they're eligible for an expungement.
How long after the event happens can the expungement be used? Is there like a statute of limitations?
No, there is no statute of limitations, but the longer you wait, the more at risk you are for having something else happen on your record if you're a habitual offender, and if you're not, even bad things happen to good people.
You know, quite often we see like on, these shows on TV, the kid is in the room, the question room, and they bring in his file. Well, when he was in 9th grade, he got arrested for breaking and entering, and now the guy's like 35 years old. But yet that thing that happened when he was in 9th grade is being used against him because it was never expunged properly. Is that correct?
I see people, and it is haunting them 20 to 30 years later. You
Wow.
don't know how your life's going to turn out, and you need to prepare.
So if you expunge it, does that mean that not even the police department can find it? No one can find it? It's gone?
It is gone. When you expunge a record, except in certain situations, the record is erased. The exceptions would be if you're applying for a job as security, if you're applying to the Florida bar,
Or any bar,
if
probably.
you're applying for a job to work with the elderly or the very young. Those kind of situations when the application asks, have you ever been arrested and have you ever had your record expunged? You have an obligation, statutory obligation, to disclose that.
Right, because you're acting as a fiduciary, kind of like you're caring for others. You're putting yourself in a situation where someone else is responsible for your actions to help other people.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And that's important. Wow, Michelle, it just makes me think of all of the situations that I hear about in the divorce world. Kids do act out because no one's paying attention to them, or they're paying too much attention to them. So I find that the kids, if the parents are fighting and fighting and fighting and they're ignoring the kids act out. And if the parents are fighting with the kids or fighting over the kids too much, the kids act out. It's a very delicate balance, but it's I'm really glad that you're on the show to let people know that you are available at the misdemeanor clinic. And if you want to find Michelle, please go to our website at divorceconnectionnetwork.com. Her video will be posted there along with her contact information. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you, Tammy.
Look forward to having you back again.
Me too.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye.